All right. New York Pro is done. Nick Walker is your 2024 New York Pro Open Bodybuilding Champion. He punched his ticket to go to the Olympia, but this was not a slam dunk for Nick. Let me tell you that. But before we get to all the call outs, who looked good, who did, and whatnot, I just want to give some thanks to some people. I went to the prejudging this morning. I couldn't go at night, but I made sure to be there in the morning. And I got some really, really nice compliments. And I'm going to give some people a couple of shout outs. Okay. First one, Dave Palumbo saw me and he actually hugged me. Dave Palumbo gave me a hug. I felt like Clark Griswold on a Christmas Vacation when he finally got the lights to go on. I wanted to cry.
It's a beaut, Clark. It's a beaut.
But the biggest compliment I got, and I'm gonna boast and brag a little bit for this one. I'm gonna boast and brag a little bit for this. The biggest compliment I got, which made me feel really good, was Madam Walker, Nick Walker's mom, walks over to me and says she watches my bodybuilding podcast. And that made me feel like I was on cloud nine. One of the greatest bodybuilders on planet Earth's mom watches my podcast. So big shout out to Madam Walker and her husband, Mr. Walker, because I mean, it was just a great compliment, man. It really, really, truly was. You know, it means I'm making headway and people are recognizing me. And that makes me keep on going. And then, of course, there was some people there that watched my podcast and came up to me and we talked. I mean, I saw my friend Justin, who won the NPC Teenage Nationals last year. We were bullshitting a little bit. I saw Sean Clarita, who I haven't seen in a while, but I knew Sean before my podcast because we used to go to the same gym. And we were talking, and he seems to be doing well. Saw Ron Harris, Jose Raymond, Guy Sistanino, Branch Warren. Man, it just, felt good that people are starting to recognize me from my podcast. So I just want to thank everybody that tunes in and watches. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going for me, but I'm certainly going to keep going for you guys. Okay. So please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about who Serious and Cylinder Bodybuilding is with your host, John Livia. Now, without further ado, let's get to the good stuff. Nick Walker wins. Here is your top five. Number one, Nick Walker. Two, Martin Fitzwater. Three, Tony O'Burton. Four, Beef Stew. And five, Christian Walski, which might be the biggest surprise next to Martin Fitzwater of this show. Now, I went to the prejudging this morning. Okay. Prejudging was really up in the air. It was really tight between Nick and Martin. It really was. I mean, I was there in person. And I was looking. I was like, oh, Martin might have this. He might have it. Nick looked good, but he wasn't as sharp as he usually is. And Martin came on 100%, and his waist is this friggin' big, and his shoulders are like this, and his flaring quads, and he's got a great back pose. He's got a great double bi pose, not as back double bi, not as good as Nick, obviously. But then, and this is what's funny, as I'm talking to Nick's parents, Nick comes out from the back, walks by me, and says to his parents, "We got to go." And I knew from that, I knew right there, Nick is going to come in sharper because he wasn't messing around. He wasn't shaking hands. He wasn't talking to the fans. He didn't say hello to me. He just was like, "We got to go," which meant I got to get busy so I could slam the door this evening, which is exactly what he did. He came back harder and sharper and he just slammed the door. If there was any question in the prejudging, there was certainly no question at night. I mean, he literally, it was like night and day. It was unbelievable how much sharper he looked at night. I don't know what his coach had him do. I have no idea, but I know they didn't just sit around talking and hanging out. That's for sure. It was not like that. And kudos to him because that shows the work ethic. That shows, like, I'm that close. I'm not letting this slip. Let's get busy. And that's exactly what he did. Now let's look at some pictures because there were some surprises and there was some letdowns. All right. You know, I love Ferdinand Hernando. So let's go see Ferdinand Hernando's page on Instagram. So here's some shots of the finals between Martin and Nick. Now, when you look at these shots, and you have to understand it, the angle's a little off. Okay, so you kind of look at this, you go, oh, you know, Martin looks good, but the truth of the matter, in person, when you have a most muscular, Nick's most muscular is lights out. It's lights out, and when you see it in person, or when you see it straight on, it's lights out. Now, don't get me wrong, Martin Fitzwater, his most muscular is dangerous, but Nick is so big and massive, and he has that Mack truck density. See, now this is where Nick takes it. You see, this is what I mean. From the back, even though as great as Martin's rear double by is, Nick's rear double by is next level. He might have the best rear double by in bodybuilding. And just look at his hamstrings. He doesn't have hamstrings. Those are 500 MCM cables going through his legs. That is just insane. Let's see what other shots we got. Okay. Here's another great thing about Nick. Nick knows his stomach, his waist is his weakness. He does an amazing job controlling it on stage. And he has these deep separated abs. So as long as he controls his stomach on stage and doesn't let it hang out, he wins this shot because, you know, Martin kind of has a 4-pack, right? You know, this is a little even because Martin's legs, you know, are kind of, you know, he's got incredible legs with great separation and feathered quads. But when it's an abs and leg shot, so it's not just legs. And, you know, you see the deep separation in his abs. Let's see if there's any other shots. And here's another one that Nick takes away, you know. Again, this angle isn't favoring Nick, but when you see it in person, Nick's lat spread was you know, next to none. He opens up, looks like a barn door, you know. Let's see if we get any other shots here. The takeaway. And Nick's posing was fantastic, especially at the night show. His posing was but look how well he controls his midsection. And look how good he transitions into each pose and the balance and not shaking. I mean, look at that. That is really, for a man of his size, look how agile he is. He has a little bit of dissension there, but then right away he pulls it back. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing on stage. And his side shots, he has elephant legs. So he has this Mack truck density up here. He's got these elephant legs. It's, you know, at night, it was like he really slammed the door shut. He's like, if there's any doubt, let me get rid of the doubt. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, look at that, you know, and his rear double by is just next to none. And then bang, it's just, you know, it was just tremendous, And of course, he's going to hit his most muscular here, which everybody knows is his lights out shot. And this is what I'm talking about when he hits his most muscular. Just boom. You see, it's just so much different when it's head on, right? And he was working the crowd. He knew he had it at night. In the prejudging, you could see the look on his face. The prejudging and the look on his face was like a little bit of doubt, but he knew at night he nailed it. He knew he nailed it. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at Martin. Martin, to me, was the biggest surprise of the show. Okay. This guy has made great progress in the last year. Look how small his waist is. Look how big his separated his quads are. He put on the right amount of size, his chest, his shoulders. Nothing is out of proportion. Okay. And his back shots are just as good. He has these hanging quads. You know, Nick's not in the show. Martin runs away with this show easily runs away with this show. Okay. because number three was Tonio, and Tonio's problem is he doesn't have the same size, and his lower back isn't as thick as Martin and Nick. Look how thick his lower back, look how low it goes, and look at the striations in his glutes and his hamstrings. He was Martin Fitzwater's not playing around this year. Whatever bullshit he got into last year, I don't know what he did mentally, but he is back on track and he looks better than ever. And kudos to him, man. Really, big ups to him because he looked phenomenal. Let's see if we can get Tonio, and we'll talk about let's see if there's a Tonio shot. Tonio. I don't see no Tonios, no Tonios. How can you not have Tonio up here? It's got to be up here somewhere. Give me a break. All right, let's go to RX Muscle. Maybe RX Muscle has it. Because they were there, so they're putting it up right away. Okay, they're putting this stuff up right away. Let's see, Tonio, because Tonio kind of did not look much different from here we go, from the night show to the day. Look, Tonio looked great. Might have been a little bit off, but now you're in the deepest lineup you've ever been in. Okay, this isn't the Arnold Classic Brazil. This wasn't the New York Pro last year. So in a show like this, if you're 1% off, it's going to mean the world. And this guy has tremendous flow to his physique. Again, I'm a big fan of Tonio's, but when you have guys like Martin and Nick, then you look exposed because you don't have the size or the lower back. I don't know if I can find a lower back shot of these guys, of Tonio, but if I can, let me see if they have the picture of the three of them up there together. All right, all right, let's see. Okay. Trying to go one at a time for you guys. Okay. Now, he has a great back lat spread. Okay. It's not as good as Martin's or Nick's. Okay. It's just not. Let's review, but right. Let's see if we have another shot of these guys. Okay. There's Antonio. Great abs and thighs, but he really loses it because of he doesn't have the size of the other guys. And he put size on from last year. The one thing you got to say about the show, Martin, Tonio, and Beef Stew made incredible progress in the year that they took off. Incredible progress. They really did their homework. Okay. I don't see any other shots of. Let's just try one more of. Fine if we can find one of Tonio, but no, we can't. But okay. Beef Stew, number 4. Again, these guys are in any other lineup, and they win. Beef Stew looked better than he did last year at the New York Pro. He put on size. He came in hard. His legs look phenomenal. He has a great vacuum. He just ran into Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater, and a great Martin Fitzwater. I mean, look, his hamstrings are great. He has, you can see how hard and gnarly he is through the top. And even his rear double bi, which was his weakest pose, is getting better. It's getting much better. I mean, you see it's a lot of feathering going on, a lot of detail. Okay, it's getting much better. And even his hamstrings and glutes from last year is better. The guy really brought it. Okay. Now, let's see if we can find number 5. That guy, let's go back. Let's see if we can find number 5, which is Christian Walski. He was a huge surprise. Nobody thought he was going to take number 5. Oh, we don't have him. Let's see. Let's go back to Ferdinando and see if we can get pictures of him. Otherwise, I will go. I know I follow him. So let's see. Otherwise, I'll just go to Christian's page. Let's actually just go to Christian's page because I know I just had it. There it is. Okay, let's see if he put some pictures up from today. All right, he didn't. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I slept on this guy. Okay, I said I didn't think he was going to do good. Structurally, he was off. But the truth of the matter is, his quads are fantastic. Small waist, looks better in person. Okay, looks better in person. He has this great quad sweep which makes his X frame look even better. All right. Let's see if we have any back shots. And all right, it's a couple of weeks off, right? But you could see his back is full enough, and he came in conditioned. And I know this is from a week ago, but he was a week out. Look at the difference in a week, man. Look at the difference these guys make in a week. That's why I say when you watch Nick Walker at a guest posing a week before, a week means a lot. They're gonna pull a lot of water. They're suffering that week. They know what they got to do. They're gonna take a diuretic that they need to take. They're gonna do the cardio they need to do. It's a different animal. Believe me, a week, 2 weeks in bodybuilding is night and day. Okay, now, uh, the biggest disappointment. The biggest disappointment of the night was, in my opinion, let's see if we have. I don't know if we have any. The biggest disappointment of the night for me was Quentin Beastwood, because let me just look him up. He did not. Do we have anything? I hate this, because I'm doing it too early. But tomorrow all the pictures will be up. But right now they're just gonna put the top 5 up. But let's see if he has any pics up from the show. All right. He has no pics from the show. All right. Let me just I'll just give my opinion of him, and we'll have to find pics of him. He looks shallow. He had no pop to his muscle, and he didn't come in condition. He obviously got bigger from last year or the year before. Don't get me wrong, but when I say he looks shallow, his chest looks shallow, his arms look shallow. He had no pop. He was posing and like nothing was happening, right? Which I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot more difficult for these bigger guys to have all of that together. When these big guys, and when you're over 6 foot tall, 6'2", 6'1", it's a lot more difficult to come in full, hard, gnarly, and have everything in symmetrically sound and have your muscles pop, because they're bigger, they're lankier. It takes more. For some reason, bigger guys, they have a hard time filling out. They spill over easily. There's not too many Samson's Dowda that could do it like he does. If you look at these guys on stage, Stu, Tonio, Martin, and Nick, I'm 5'8". I'm taller than all of them. They're so short and so compact and so thick and full, and they come in shape. It's just difficult. Now, let's throw in a little bit of 212, because the guy who won 212, I never heard of because he's from Europe. But this guy brought it, son. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. Oliel Creevy. I apologize, Creevy. But this guy, I thought Kareth Baggio was going to take home title number 2 because he won the 212 last year. I'm pretty sure he did. I might be wrong, but I think he won 212 last year. But this guy came in full, hard, grainy. Look at his belt. When you see his back shots, he was so grainy. I mean, he just nailed it. This guy fucking nailed it. All right. Let's see if we have any Kareth Baggio shots, or it's just some guys from 212. Oh, here's Quentin. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Here's Quentin. Okay. Here's what I mean, right? Now, this is the only picture of Quentin we got. All right. That's what it is. Oh, no. We got some pics of Quentin. Okay. I apologize, guys. Here's a picture of Quentin Beastwood. All right. He put on the size. He was lacking pop. He was lacking not separation in his legs, but a little bit in his upper body, and his back shots were not doing it. He didn't have the thickness through the delts and chest and arms that Nick, Martin, Tonio have. Okay, those are the only 2 shots. So I mean, you could tell just from the shot, like he's got great structure, but it's going to be very difficult for him to fill it out and nail conditioning at the same time. Now, I wouldn't give up if I were him. I personally think that he can come in harder with better pop if he has a great coach and he jumps into another show and he could do much better. I think this was just a bad showing for him. Uh, do we have any others? No. Okay. Now, another shout out, the woman who won bodybuilding. This woman looked incredible. Ashley Jones. This woman looked, she was insane. She could have maybe came in a little harder, but I mean, this woman looks like a light heavyweight national level bodybuilder and a good one. I mean, she looked phenomenal. I mean, she looked great and obviously a good poser. I mean, I mean, she really brought it, man. She's going to be a force in women's bodybuilding. That's for sure. Okay. That does it for the New York Pro wrap up. I love being there. I love talking to people. If I'm ever out and you recognize me, please come up to me and talk to me because I love it. By the end of the night, the end of the day, rather, we had a bunch of guys just sitting around talking bullshit, and Dorian included. My friend Dorian Haywood, I'm just going to give a big props to Dorian. He brought a good package, and he was disappointed, but he has nothing to be disappointed about. This was literally an Arnold Classic lineup. I mean, yeah, you didn't break the top 6, okay, but literally, I think it was Angel Calderon that came in 6. That's how good. That's how good the lineup was. If Angel Calderon comes in 6, who comes in chiseled, this was not your normal New York Pro lineup. Dorian will go on to do the Cali Pro next week. He will do better. We talked about it. He talked to the judges and he talked to actually Dave Palumbo, and he told him what he has to do. And Dorian is a friend, and I went there to support him, and he's gonna do it, and he's gonna bring a better package at California. But anybody in this show, I mean, I think there was like 22 guys in this show. If I'm mistaken, I think there were 22 guys in this show. I mean, this is no joke, man. I mean, the guy who came in 4th last year didn't break the top 6 this year. That big Viking looking dude with the big shoulders. I forgot where he's from. I don't remember. The bald head. So that tells you right there. This was no joke. And the top 6 guys was spot on. Spot on. They couldn't have been any better, especially when Nick came back at night. Couldn't have been any better. And even Martin probably came back a little better at night. I mean, it was just a tremendous lineup and a tremendous show. So nobody in that contest has anything to be ashamed of. And it's just going to come back better and bigger and better. And that's it. All right, guys. That's it for me. Like, share, subscribe. And hi, Nick's mom. Hi, thank you for watching. See you later, Mrs. Walker.